A fascinating week at the World Cup. And I'm going to focus on three teams. I'll talk about Ireland as we go by, but there was Pakistan and there was South Africa. Now, I'd blogged about this before as well. Before the World Cup started, you got the feeling this is South Africa's World Cup because everything seemed right about it. I remember the only thing I was worried about was the balance. Who is going to be number 7? Who is going to be the 5th bowler? And is a giant shadow of Callis that was over them, that was protecting them. Now that it's gone, how do they recover? And that is the one area that South Africa really struggling in. Now, against Pakistan, they decided we'll go in with 5 batsmen, we'll play Dumini in as the reserve spinner, and suddenly what do they see? It's a small ground. It's a tiny, tiny ground at Eden Park. When in doubt, hit Dumini out. So suddenly AB de Villiers is bowling, Dumini is bowling, just those 2 or 3 overs, 9 overs go for 77 in a 220 match. And people are looking at that and saying, you know what, you get past Steyn and Morkel, there's chances there. You can put South Africa under pressure. One of them has a bad game, then suddenly South Africa are struggling. And then we discovered one other fact that we suspected all along. We thought the South African team was different. Make them chase. The moment you make them chase, you've got an unyielding attack against them. India asked them to chase 300. The seamers bowled really well in good areas, strangled them. And what happened? South Africa struggled. Pakistan did just that, only 220, but they had 4 genuinely good seam bowlers in very helpful conditions, and suddenly 77 for 5, it's down to AB de Villiers. So the story of the week was, you want to play South Africa, see off the new ball, put pressure on the reserve bowler, get runs on the board, and then try and see how South Africa react. They still don't know, well into the World Cup, what their best 11 is, and that's not a good situation to be in. What about Pakistan? Everybody wrote them off. More than neutral observers, their own fans wrote them off. They are passionate fans. They're hanging on to something. There's not a lot to cheer about at the moment. And so cricket is the only thing they can look forward to. And they've been very, very bizarre. I mean, you have to take one look at Sarfaraz Ahmed and say, you know what? We've got somebody who bats replacing someone who's not scoring runs, which is Nasir Jamshed. And we've got someone behind the stumps who's taking catches in place of someone who doesn't, which was Umar Akmal. It was baffling, absolutely. And only Pakistan can explain how that happens, how they kept this player out. But look what happens again with Pakistan. Suddenly someone switches a button on. The problem with Pakistan cricket is you don't know where that button is. Someone switches that button on and the line of seam bowlers, that never-ending line of seam bowlers comes and delivers. Suddenly I'm seeing Rahat Ali is played a little bit, but he looks in rhythm. His first ball is 140. Irfan is different. Wahab Riaz, it's incredible. In any other country would have played much more cricket. He comes in, hits the bat hard. Then you've got this new other guy, Sohail Khan, is swinging the ball, bowling Yorkers at reverse. You've got 4 quality bowlers and suddenly they can defend any score. So the return of Pakistan, which the format allowed. In most other formats, Pakistan will be dead and buried. So the return of Pakistan to the World Cup, the question marks around South Africa, and I want to end with the team that's making so many friends. You know, Ireland played 20 odd one-days in 4 years since the last World Cup. They did well in 2011. And now all of a sudden, they're getting all the teams to sit up and take notice. Close match against Zimbabwe, that was important. But I love the flair they bring in. Zimbabwe are an established test match playing country, though they haven't played for a while. But they're in the top 10. And it was just assumed that Ireland are going to win. And I just love the flair they brought to it. They beat the West Indies. Just that one bad game might come to haunt them against the game against South Africa. But, you know, one of the reasons you go to the World Cup is because you want to back the underdog. And even teams that have no emotional connect with Ireland have now started to back Ireland. We just love the way they're playing. That was, to me, the highlight of the last few days of the World Cup. If you want to stay up to date with all my video blogs, hit the subscribe button.